Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one and only Turbo coin. Now, listen, before we dive into the technical analysis, let's see what people are saying, because I'm very, very curious to see what people are thinking of this coin. And I literally, ladies and gentlemen, only wrote this hashtag Turbo, have not looked at anything, right? And we can see that some people, Steph is Crypto, believes Turbo will hit 50 cents. Now, that is fairly optimistic. That would be, oh my gosh, that'd be over 100x, ladies and gentlemen, over 100x, which means we would have to be over 25 billion market cap. Kind of crazy, but we will do a whole nother video dedicated to if Turbo can hit 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, and $1 in another video. But we can see, right, people are overall, optimistic, and we can see, right, Man of Bitcoin says as long as price stays below the 0.0041, at least one more low in wave 5 to the downside remains likely. The correction could also turn into a complete WXY pattern. Now, I don't know what kind of pattern that is, to be honest. I know some people believe in the Elliott waves. For me, I just simply look at lower lows and higher lows and all of that kind of stuff. Now, see, here's the thing, right? He has a lot of charts or a lot of stuff marked up on the chart. Some people think we're going back all the way down here, right? I've seen some people ask me, hey, do you think we're going to go all the way back down to, 0.002 or even lower? And for me, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you right now, let me cut the noise. Let me tell you right now, if we were to get down to these levels, that would be extremely concerning. Okay, that would be extremely concerning. Why? Well, ladies and gentlemen, for one, in recent times, we broke structure to the upside, right? We broke structure. So the last relevant high was here. These were the last relevant bottoms. Sure, you could say technically this was the last relevant high, but in terms of a huge market shift, we can see, right? This was the bottom, this was the top, and boom, we blast off. Oh, we blast off, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we did blast off. This thing went absolutely nuclear for a couple of weeks, and we can see we've been slowly selling off, slowly but surely over the last 5 weeks. Now, here's the thing, right? The market structure has shifted. Because for one, we created a higher high, right? This was a high over here. This was a higher high. It's as simple as that. Now we do have this low. So technically we can go as low as 0.002 and it's still going to be considered a higher low. The problem is that we are currently above this massive support. Okay, we are. And I really do expect us to start respecting it. We could actually see in the last 2 weeks, right? There's been some type of rejections and the selling pressure has been getting smaller, which is what we want, right? The last thing we want is, if we drop this support real quick again, is to have something similar to what we had in February, where we were, rejecting, but then we just slammed through, okay? Here's the deal, people. You have to remember that when Turbo was around this price, Bitcoin was like around what, 75 to 80K at best, right? So if we were to drop all the way down here, that probably means Bitcoin has gone down tens of thousands of dollars. So it would not be ideal just for, the whole market in crypto's sake, right? If Bitcoin were to go down tens of thousands of dollars, we might have to just view the markets completely different. The sentiment would definitely change. Things will definitely change. Now, yes, I know there's some World War III tension, so we are going to keep an eye out on that, okay? But overall, I still expect this coin to be holding this massive zone, okay? Most likely, we will get some type of manipulation where we go down and then we go back up. Now, this is just an assumption, people, right? Based off technical analysis, this is just an assumption. Based off technical analysis, the only thing I can confirm is that we are creating lower lows, okay? Which usually means that when something creates lower lows, it usually means it's going to go lower and lower. For us to see a market structure shift, okay, listen to this. for us to see a market structure shift, for one, right, the next time we pull up, even if we don't create a higher high, right, a high above this area over here, at the bare minimum, we need to create a higher low. Okay, so this low over here, we need a higher one. So like somewhere over here would be nice. And then we need to break to the upside, creating a higher high. We need a market shift. Here's the deal, right? It was looking good. Part one was complete because we had this high, this low. When we went down, we created a lower low. But when we went up, we actually created a higher high. So what we were hoping for is when we do pull down, we actually created a higher low. But unfortunately, since the market and the world news have been pretty bearish, we created a lower low. So we invalidated this higher high that we created earlier. Okay. Hopefully that is very, very simple. Hopefully you guys did understand that. So yeah, overall, right, for me, I'm just looking to be dollar cost averaging, right? I know my buy zones, I am going to be looking for more confirmation of reversals first before I do buy, as I don't want to be going into the markets blindly anymore. Not that I have been going blindly, but the difference between now and even just a week ago was the fact that there was no potential World War III. Now, I still think everything will work out fairly fine. Of course, only time will tell, right? There's been war tensions before, the talk of World War III. Look, anything gets solved, right? Anything can get solved. But, Israel and Iran have been kind of going at each other from what I do know. So I don't know. Well, only time will tell. But yeah, we can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are ranked 161 at 260 million market cap with 26 million volume in the last 24 hours. We can still see we are 91% community sentiment. And we can see if we actually go and look how many holders are, I believe we're still growing. And even if we're slightly losing some, it's not that bad. Yeah, in fact, we are still growing while price is, going down. So a lot of people see the opportunities of getting turbo for cheap because they know this coin will be hitting high levels, right? I still think this coin should be hitting around 10 cents, right? And 10 cents, ladies and gentlemen, would be roughly a 30x from here, maybe a little bit less, right? For me, that is the golden area. Of course, we will obviously update everyone in the future, right? We will close this video off by just looking at what else people are saying, right? This guy thinks it's going to go all the way down here. I would be really, really concerned if the structure did do something similar and we did go to these very, very low levels. Not very optimal. There's no way. There's no way. We're gonna watch this another time. I'd never seen this, but I don't want to, drag the video too long. And we have another person believing that we will be going down to 0.003 level, right? And, overall, right? Overall, a lot of people I know are fairly bullish. 100x. Yeah, turbo could 100x. I mean, the things would have to line up, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Yeah. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.